for Method Black, and now they want to get that guaranteed qualification to BlizzCon. 85% of people in chat looks like have voted for XRB, which is absolutely crazy. Okay, what? Guys, do not vote unless you're 1500 rated.
That's a little bit off there. I think this is a composition that Looney played and got absolutely destroyed on Dalaran Sewers, where Blizzo was deleted from the universe. So I'm not sure if it's going to be the best pick overall. Looney's making a move with the Paralysis Stormbolt, but Chaz pre-life gripped it. Now Looney caught into a Hex, instant dispel by Zeepai. So Looney, when he activates his Way of the Crane, needs to avoid Psychic Scream at all costs, but it's going to be difficult because he has to get close and personal to heal with it.
Yep, Blizzo's going to be taking a little bit of damage right now as they make a swap over onto Waz, putting some pressure on Method Black. Waz all over the place, stunning up Zeepai. There's a huge chain lightning coming in from Swapsy onto all three members. Leg sweep now onto Waz. He has to Trinket out with an Incapacitate onto Chaz. Nicely done by Looney.
All right, early on, Waz forced to Trinket, but no other cooldowns paired up with that. Looney Gouge with no Trinket available. Blizzo caught into a stun. Are they going to commit and go all in? Does not appear to be the case, as they know Blizzo will likely just survive in this position, but the pressure is still mounting. Looney definitely is struggling to heal through this. He hasn't used his Way of the Crane yet. He might be just saving it for a stun lock, but if he uses it outside of a stun, they could swap to him. It's a really difficult decision to make. He's falling behind on mana. Will this Mistweaver pick end up backfiring, Ben?
Yeah, Blizzo gets stunned. Orc Relentless, though, going to do work, really reducing the duration of that. Zeepai lands a full Hex. Full Incapacitate on Chaz. Waz in a lot of trouble. Still has the Cloak of Shadows. He's going to be dipping behind the pillar to avoid some of that Elemental Shaman damage from Zeepai. Now charging in, looking to get some pressure rolling, but this isn't too bad for XRB to the moon. They've managed to get some decent pressure and keep Method Black really defensive.
The only thing is their target choice is very limited. I mean, Waz, the Outlaw Rogue, is the least mobile. I don't think Blizzo is going to be going after the Elemental Shaman Swapsy very much. Waz trying to grappling hook away, gets Earthshock stunned on the back end. Blizzo gets gouged up. Zeepai looking for constant hexes. Both Shamans can hex each other, and there's no removal for it, so it will stall out the game quite heavily as a result. We see Looney moving forward. He pre-walls as he crosses the map. That way, in case he gets clotheslined by a stun, he's likely to survive it. That's a premeditated move by him, but Waz will capitalize on that later and punish, I can imagine.
Yeah, Waz trying to make a move over here on Zeepai and Looney, but Blizzo really punishing that. Finally, a full stun onto Zeepai. Looney into the Gouge. Are they going to be able to force out that Astral shift? They are! Whoa. I think it's lower and lower. This unexpected burst from the Tricks of the Trade and the Elemental Shaman is so insane from Method Black.
All right, Waz just using his grappling hooks defensively to avoid and kite Blizzo, as they are just doing the hit and run tactics of their composition. Blizzo finally getting some uptime, full Stormbolt. Chaz life grips Waz to safety back on this opposing pillar, and it's very difficult for Blizzo to really stay on target. I feel like the Warrior is the weak link in this matchup if he's attacking an Outlaw Rogue with Feint and Powered Shields. Now there's the swap onto Looney, trying to punish that wall usage earlier. Luckily, Looney has Way of the Crane to break out of that stun lock for free, basically. Now he's going to be dishing out a bit of a damage and trying to assist, getting rid of those Power Word shields, trinketing out of the blind. So now with no Trinket for blind and no Way of the Crane, Looney is susceptible for a stun lock combination very soon, and we've seen what happens to people in stuns against Method Black.
That's true. Waz doesn't have the Plunder armor available. Blizzo and Zeepai need to be very careful keeping Looney alive. Looney can't afford to push into this moment. Going to be getting out some enveloping mist onto Blizzo. Looney actually charging in. This could be scary. Full leg sweep on Waz though with the Stormbolt onto Chaz. Nice CC coming in from XRB to the moon. Waz flailing to survive with the feints over and over. He actually used the Vanish as well. Disappear, but a DR G-shot on Blizzo. And Waz has actually been DRing his stuns on a Blizzo quite a lot in this match.
All right, Waz jumping in, getting knocked away on the back end of that stun. Nice thunderstorm by Zeepai. Blizzo charging over, chopping up Waz. Looney getting swapped to for a second by Swapsy, trying to force away the Crane prior to his stun and then looking to 100-0 him potentially in 28 seconds, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to force it. Looney seems to be holding on to it in quite a greedy fashion. Now popping the Way of the Crane, trying to get some boosted damage. Will it be enough, though, to push him over the edge? Chaz spamming out Clarity of Will in the midfield. Hexes onto Swapsy to deny any sort of counter pressure. Waz still the focused target. Chaz doing his best to pick him up, but costing a lot of mana. Okay, no Trinket, no Way of the Crane. Plunder armor up at 7 seconds. So it's very predictable, I think, in this position that Waz wants to go after Looney.
Yeah, Looney needs to be very afraid in this situation. Like you said, we see what happens when Method Black can get all that lined up. Looney behind the pillar, Stormbolt now onto Chazz. Now Chazz has an opportunity to actually get some damage onto Looney. There's going to be no peels from the Stormbolt. There's the Gouge. Here's the setup. There's the stun. Plunder armor, everything. Looney has to survive this. Blizzo doing everything he can. Big damage, though. Nice defensive fear and heals coming in from Zeepai. Looney ultimately will survive, and that really was the scariest moment in the match.
Yes, it was, and they can set that situation up, getting the Trinket with the blind later on into the game and dampening, and perhaps with some crowd control and Blizzo at the same time to deny his peels, they just take Looney out 100-0. We are finally starting to see some pressure for XRB with Chazz's team dipping below 80%. Archangel currently activated to boost his healing though, as he's desperately trying to make sure they're topped. See Stormkeeper channeled swaps. He's going to be unleashing some devastating lightning bolts here very shortly as they swap to Looney pre-walls. I like this move from Looney. Whenever he's rolling across the map to get crowd control on the enemy healer, he activates his shield wall before running into the middle of the map. That way if he gets stunned on his way over there, he reduces a lot of damage on himself and he's likely to survive, and he almost baits them to go on him. Now that stun is now on cooldown, they can maybe set up some more pressure. Chazz with no riposte available, he used that to try and avoid an incoming stun or damage during their push on Looney before, so he could be an exposed target for an execute, but if he saves the grappling hook defensively, it seems like he can quite easily avoid Blizzo. Imagine Chaz has life grip available. Chazz moving forward. Zeepai and Looney retreating away, respecting the damage of the Outlaw Rogue. Looney moves in for a paralysis, and he likely wants to get a stun, but Chazz is just dodging Looney and staying away from him. Looney moves in. Chazz is trying to kite away from him. We see a full hex onto Looney and a stun to cross crowd control. Nice setup here from Method Black. Do they have the damage to back it up? Zeepai below half HP and still drop.
Astral Shift going to be forced out, and that's the way of the crane from Looney as well. He still has his Trinket though, so not in too much trouble managing to top off his team. And what XRB has been doing through this match is trying to poke off Chazz's Vim when they can, really taxing the mana. But unfortunately, Chaz has been able to keep himself topped off quite easily in this matchup, so really not the best strategy so far. But as dampening moves higher and higher, it could be more difficult for Chaz. As you can see, Blizzo trying to connect once again, really trying to punish Chaz.
Oh, we see a blind attempt here, getting Looney's Trinket as Zeepai was an exposed target with no Astral Shift. Looney is forced to use Trinket. Now he will not have Trinket for a possible Plunder armor swap moving forward. So Method Black, their next objective is to force Wave the Crane, which is available in 4 seconds. Looney's making a move though prior to that. Chazz is trying to kite away with the grappling hook. Zeepai holding him in place with an Earth Shock. They're actually going after Chaz, trying to punch down that Vim and remove 20% bonus healing if they can keep Chaz below 80% health. Now Blizzo switching back to Chazz to try and apply the pressure, but in this position, if they can force a Wave the Crane anytime here, they can just immediately remove Looney's health bar from the arena. He knows that he has to hold on to it as long as possible, but it's very difficult to heal without using the Wave of the Crane. He's doing a good job so far, but they've managed to bait it out. They bait the Wave of the Crane. Ven now on the next stun DR. Looney's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Looney needs to top himself off, and like you mentioned earlier, if Looney can pre-fortify Brew, then he might be able to survive these swaps. Blizz does have the fear available as well, but Chazz in so much trouble. Hex onto swaps. He's not going to be able to help Chazz out whatsoever. Nice setup there by XRB to the moon. Chaz planning to keep him alive, manages to do so. Blizzo still trying to chop him down, but Chazz going to be completely fine in this situation. Now, Looney, like I said, preemptive fortifying Elixir, realizing he could be in some trouble, has to hold on another 14 seconds.
He has to pre-life cocoon or buy 10 more seconds. They got 10 more seconds. Can Method Black infiltrate XRB to the Moon's defensive position? Yes, they squeak through. They need to crowd control Blizzo, or he could defuse the situation. Triple fear from Blizzo. Will that be enough to stall it out? It is. He's managed to sneak the life cocoon in between the stun locks, but still tons of damage. Way the Crane on 10%. Will he be able to hang on here? We're at 20% dampening. Looney do whatever he gets gouged in low health. Chaz gets swapped too, though. He has no mana left. Way the Crane is going to be fading. Looney needs to connect a big hit to top himself. He's dangerously low. They knock Chaz away. Looney hangs on. Shayloon's gift should top him back up, but Chaz is now the one on the back foot, and XRB to the moon are looking like they can close this.
They might have found the composition. Chaz completely Stormbolt on Chazz. He does have the Trinket, opting not to use it in execute range. Blizzo trying to kill him. Incapacitate on Chaz. Blizzo trying to connect. There's a defensive blind coming in from Chazz. It's a big offensive tool that he had to use defensively, but he had no choice in that situation. XRB to the moon has found so much pressure and so much momentum.
Chaz has no Vim. He's completely tapped. His team is all dead. It's all Looney. He just has to stay alive a little bit longer. This could easily go down to a 2v2. Gouge under the way of the Crane, trying to stall it out into a full Psychic Scream. Still trying to stall it out, but Swapsy falls first. And they've done it. They've beaten the final boss. They've beaten the Pirates in game number 1.
That is a crazy start to for XRB. I mean, ultimately, you kind of walk into this series and just expect a swift 4-0. That was a crazy defeat that Method served to them in the first one, and now the tables have turned. A hot start for XRB. Zico, how are they able to do it?
I mean, it just comes down to mainly Blizzo being able to defuse the situations time and time again, where Looney doesn't have his way of the crane, Looney doesn't have his trinket or his fortifying brew, and at that point he is at the mercy of Blizzo, making sure that he can stay alive, coming in clutch with the intimidating shouts during those setups and the disarms and the storm bolts, and he needs to keep doing that over and over again. And of course Looney as well needs to make sure that he is consistently pre-fortifying brewing before these stun locks. When he doesn't have the trinket or the way of the crane, he needs to make sure he's not wasting the way of the crane, and he still needs to make sure that he gets out enough healing for the setups onto Blizzo and Zipai. It's such a difficult job for the entirety of XRB, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, headed into this series, I know we showed the poll when we entered into the blind pick. Things were flipped. 85% for Method Black, and you know what? Twitch chat, you are never wrong, except for the 15% of you that went with X.
Is, of course, when they are going onto Looney and forcing out the way of the cranes and blinding Looney up, they need to make sure that they later on don't die to the plunder armor, and this is a perfect example of just that. You see here, Looney doesn't have his fortifying brew just yet available. He's going to be getting pistol stunned up, and here Waz and Method Black are launching an attack with the tricks of the trade, trying to reach Looney behind this pillar to force him to use that way of the crane, and then they're going to try to blind him on his to force out the trinket in addition to that and give themselves a window of opportunity. There is the way of the crane, of course, and then here is the swap immediately towards Blizzo, and they're to Zipa actually. Zipa's going to
scared because Method Black has so many strong compositions at their disposal. XRB has only lost to Method Black in this tournament, and now in the grand final, XRB is off to a fantastic start.
Yeah, they've been doing incredible. Method Black looking to get aggressive though. Cheap shot on the Blizzo, cheap shot on the Looney, a little bit of damage going out onto Walrex. We'll have to see Waz, who's going to be setting up on this matchup. XRB to the Moon's going to have to do a phenomenal job defensively while also creating offense, making sure Method Black can't just do whatever they want.
All right, Swapsy just kiting Blizzo, forcing him to switch back to Waz, and Waz is happy to see him. He's going to stun him, burst him down to about half health. Looney trying to pick him back up. Now Blizzo looking to reverse the pressure with a Fist of Fury of his own, not getting too much done. Chaz already shielding up Waz and protecting his health, quite effective. You see Drain Soul being channeled by Walrix's position at the pillar, but Waz goes for a swap, Gouge into fear onto Blizzo. Good cross crowd control. Walrix with the Nether Ward trying to peel for his team with the double Infernal stun, buying enough time potentially for Looney to survive, but he could get KO'd. Needs to be careful, ducks behind the pillar and will survive that swap. In the meantime, Waz traded a riposte, a defensive cooldown that allows you to survive through physical damage quite easily. That could be an opening for Blizzo. Now we see a blind though on the Looney and a swap to Blizzo. Will Waz get the stab? Of course Waz will get the stab. He gets the stab every time, and Blizzo is now in trouble. He's gonna risk it. He barely squeaks that touch of karma in between the stun lock.
I like the hold though. He can't be committing his trinket and the touch of karma. Blizzo intelligently reading the situation, and Looney could comfortably sit through that entire blind stab. Waz used the plunder armor there as well, so big offensive cooldowns coming in from Method Black that XRB to the Moon kind of just shrugged off.
Well, we see a swap now onto Walrix. He does not have Earth Shield, and Swapsy is letting it rip tons of damage down to half. Walrix ports behind the pillar. Waz goes in, but Waz is overextending. Blizzo is trying to punish that overextension, but Waz stuns him away, predicting it. Now Swapsy is switching his attention. Blizzo bursted down to half. Looney timing some heals. Waz grappling hooks over for a potential kick. Was not available, or it was unfortunately missed, so now Looney will allow his whole team to recover. Chaz, in the meantime, is doing a great job on his mana. Both healers completely topped at this point, despite such high pressure early on.
Yeah, they both realize it's going to be a late game. They have to play very mana efficient. When we saw this matchup before, the last time these two teams met, Blizzo actually overextended, ended up dying, so definitely doesn't want to be wasting that trinket, and when he doesn't have it available, he can't be overextending. A little bit of pressure out onto Waz right now. Waz in a position to look for fear, but Swapsy able to shut it down with that Earth Shock stun.
All right, this is the last series of Legion. This is the last time these teams will get to compete in this expansion, ladies and gentlemen. If you're sitting at home, you're going to want to tell anybody you know to tune in. It's going to be an amazing best of 7. I can see this swinging back all the way to a final match point. Both of these teams playing out of their minds. It's so difficult to find openings, but here Waz trying to punish Blizzo for this overextension. Looney getting crowd controlled by Zipai. Blizzo dips down to half, but Looney picks him back up in a hurry. We see Gouge now onto Blizzo. Waz switches his attention to Walrix. Swapsy and Waz just constantly turreting to different targets to make it difficult for Looney to know who to keep Earthshield on.
this is how they always play it. Look at Chaz and Swapsy's positioning. Chaz is just getting defended by Swapsy. Blizzo actually going to make a little bit of a swap over on Chaz, but he has the powered shield, taking no damage in that entire Fist of Fury, and it's just so difficult for Blizzo. He has to push it on a Priest or he has to push it on a Shaman. Both aren't optimal targets. The only one he can really go after is Waz, but can't really find the damage there. Definitely going to be needing dampening on the side of XRB to really generate any pressure. As I say that, though, everyone from Method Black rotting down a little bit, but the Archangel coming in from Chaz should be enough to deflect.
Yeah, Archangel and Penance offensive allows you to basically heal your whole team quite easily, so Chaz with that combo will survive. Now we see Looney in a blind as Method Black set up an attack. Will Waz get the sap? This time around, not getting the sap. That's going to allow Looney to breathe quite easily as he's looking to top Blizzo off, jumping away from Waz. Doesn't want to get swapped to. They gouge Blizzo. Swapsy jumps in. Blizzo now into a stun. Swapsy unleashing some Lava Burst and Ice Fury. He's trying to generate some huge damage. Walrick sees that coming and spell locks him on it. Now we see Blizzo making a swap to Chaz. They've got Chaz in the open. One unstable affliction, two unstable afflictions. Both teams making swaps to the healers, but a Hex on Blizzo denies a bit of the burst. Chaz is sneaking in. I'm curious to see what this sneaky Priest is trying to get done. He could be fearing Blizzo for a swap onto Looney, but he's positioned very offensively now.
Yeah, kick on to Looney. Looney could still be in a little bit of trouble here, but unfortunately Swapsy not in a really great position to get that damage out. Looney's going to be leaping away. Double leg sweep going out from Blizzo. DR on Chaz. Might be able to make something happen onto Waz, but it doesn't really look like it. A little bit of burst coming in from that Strike of the Wind Lord. Now Waz turning his attention onto Walrex. Nice interrupt there from Walrex, slowing down some of the damage from Swapsy in that situation. Looney positioned well, away from everyone to get out those heals, but Looney kind of falling behind on mana.
All right, Looney losing the mana race as this is likely to move into dampening. Blizzo has Touch of Death, but they're making a healer swap on both sides. Looney's the one in trouble. Blizzo is trying to move over to support, but Riposte is used preemptively to avoid being stunned. Waz goes all in for a kill. Looney not respecting these cooldowns, is playing this very greedy. He's dancing dangerously there and manages to stay alive, and that greed will let his team play more offensively later on.
That was such a scary moment. Waz still had the Plunder armor. He could have pulled the trigger at any time, but we've seen this discipline from Looney before. He knows he cannot be overlapping. He cannot get baited into using defensives. Blizzo now getting swapped to gouge onto Looney, but that's going to break on Looney. He's going to be able to easily keep Blizzo alive in this situation. Now Blizzo trying to reconnect to Chaz. I think Chaz is actually going for a Drinkin in this situation. That was a nice double stun from Blizzo. Waz going to be trinketing out, looking for another swap onto Looney. He has the Trinket, he has the Link, he has the Astral Shift. Is he going to use them though? Getting lower and lower. Still not respecting the damage coming in from Method Black, and he's going to play it out very greedy, Sid.
Looney has such good awareness. Any other Shaman there would have Astral Shift. Any other Shaman there would have Spirit Linked, but Looney knows Plunder's not committed. I'm not giving you nothing, and Looney does it. If he gives him that cooldown, then later on, Plunder will just kill him. So Looney's just perfectly calculated. He's easily the best defensive healer in the game right now, and that's because of his quick calculations. He knows his limits and how far he can push them. Waz now forced to retreat away as Chaz is crowd controlled up. Walrix is trying to set up a fear potentially out of that. Waz is still below half HP. Rising Sun kick straight to the face as Waz is desperately trying to stun Walrix away. Blizzo on his heels, trying to take him out, but Chaz in a good position to start healing his team back to full. Archangel available in 10 seconds for that big boost of healing.
Yeah, Adrenaline Rush going to be committed by Waz, looking for some damage now onto Walrix. Chaz able to heal through the damage quite easily, spamming out the Clarity of Wills as well, and this is a situation where Blizzo's really struggling to find damage. Looney, this could be an opportunity for him to drink, but he doesn't want to fall behind. Nice stun coming in from Waz onto Blizzo, as they do find some pressure there. 8% dampening, Chaz way ahead on mana.
Yeah, Chaz is starting to secure a significant lead as we start to set foot into dampening at 9% healing reduction. The members of this game will start to be difficult to recover from high bursts of damage. Swapsy is jumping over, trying to stop Looney from drinking in the back line. Chaz is being stopped by Blizzo, but Waz leaps over. Looney gets knocked out of his Earthen Shield Totem. Nice Thunderstorm from Swapsy. Looney exposed in center field. Will Waz be able to reconnect? No. Grappling hook not available. Looney makes a quick getaway. They're forced to switch targets, trying to poke away at both Walrix and Blizzo, trying to attack whatever target doesn't have Earth Shield and maximize their damage. Blizzo's getting aggressive though, rolling towards Swapsy. Love to attack Chaz and remove that Vim. Waz though jumping in, denying the pet res. No, Walrus is able to summon that Fell Hunter back alive. Looney now caught into a stun. Blizzo into a fear as they set up for another swap. No Plunder armor, but basically everything else. Will Looney react? He trinkets, he Spear Links, but nobody was there. Walrus portals into it, but only one member is not going to give him that much health, and maybe we're starting to see Looney's defense crack.
He gets fully blinded. Do they have the follow-up staff? Big damage on the Walrus. These are the setups for Method Black that they're known for. Do they have any CC out of the blind? No, Looney's going to be able to get out some heals, but they forced out the unending resolve. And look at Waz. He still has the Plunder armor. No Trinket from Looney. Walrus, no on any resolve. They can basically pick their target at this point in the game, but nice pressure coming in from Blizzo. He's rotting down both Chaz and Swapsy. Very nicely done keeping his team in it, but I am so scared for XRB.
I mean, it's do or die right now for XRB. Do you just full retreat out? You've got so much pressure. Or do you just go all in and try and gun somebody down? Waz swaps over to Blizzo, trying to bait a Trinket. They're not finding it, but there's still a lot of damage with the tricks of the trade. Swapsy's just dealing so much. Nice spell lock on that Ice Fury. Walrus realizes the tricks of the trade. Bonus damage would be too much. He's going to be forced to use that spell lock defensively. Chaz caught into a Fist of Fury. Blizzo trying to get that Vim off now in dampening if they can survive just a little bit longer and keep Vim off of Chaz. XRB can still take this, but Waz is just waiting. He's got the Plunder. If Looney gets caught, he jumps over. He doesn't have Earth Shield, but he pre-Earthen Shield totem. That needs to be enough. Blizzo moves in, but he could get feared. Will Looney go down in the stun lock combo, or will this Earthen Shield be enough? It looks to be enough. Now full fear secured on Chaz. He pre-pays suppressions, but I'm not sure if it'll be enough. He cap totems out of the fear. Great crowd control. Swapsy on the run. He's going to win sheer Looney and avoid Walrus at the same time, but with dampening mounting higher and higher, it's just going to get harder and harder.
Looney's playing like a god. Nice pressure coming in from Walrus onto Swapsy, keeping his team in it. 22% dampening. Chaz trying to recover with the Archangel, but the Earthshock stun comes in. A lot of pressure now onto Chaz. Waz looking for some damage onto Walrus. Looks like Method Black's going to semi-stabilize right now, but Blizzo still keeping the pressure up onto Swapsy, not allowing Chaz to fully recover.
We've talked to XRB to the moon against this composition constantly. One mistake could just close the game, and currently Walrus is a very weak target with no defensive cooldowns, and Looney caught into a full Psychic Scream. Blizzo is trying to back him up. Will he buy him enough time? He's dipping below 30%. Looney caught into a stun. Walrus mind controlled at low health. Big hits coming. Hellstone at the final second for Walrus, but they're just cutting right through it. A half blind. Looney trinkets. He's got no link. Walrus hits across the map. Swapsy caught into a stun. Chaz trying to pick him back up as both teams are so dangerously low, deep into dampening.
The Wasp could be in a little trouble. He still has the Cloak of Shadows. Blizzo coming back for the stun. Preemptive parry there. Good damage still coming in from Waz. You can see Swapsy getting in position as well, but they don't want to overextend. Chaz is in a lot of trouble right now. Swapsy has to use the Astral Shift. XRB to the moon, looking to close out this game. Blizzo chasing down Swapsy, but Chaz in an excellent position with the Archangel. Chaz in the meantime, or Waz in the meantime, he has no defensive cooldowns left.
We see another where Chaz is moving for a Psychic Scream. If Chaz can get to Looney, Blizzo deflects him though. Everybody on the team of Method Black is dipping low. Looney's on off stun DR. Looney's feeling good. He can put her shirt on Walrus very safely. Waz gets paralysis away. XRB to the moon are just stalling for as long as possible. A DR stun on Looney. Waz is starting to choke. This game's been so long and so intense. He's getting stunned Blizzo for a swap. Will Blizzo throw the match? He's got Trinket. He's got Karma. He's not going to commit them. He gets gouged away. They're forced to retreat. Chaz can't get his Vim back. He can't get that 20% bonus. Walrus! He's got paralysis, but Walrus dips low. He's got unending resolve. He can trade that. Waz got to a stun. One Trinket is available just now, but he's so dangerous. Waz gonna go. XRB to the moon are up 2-0 in the grand finals versus Method Black. Nobody could have predicted this.
They are playing out of their minds. That's exactly what they said they need to do, and they are doing it here today.
This was a team that smoked them as well, and now they're coming out. They're looking absolutely insane in Seco. I can't help but to think that this is just like the perfect ultimate test for XRB. Like, let's look at their season. They say that they are struggling in the way that every single thing comes down to one mistake, right? And certain compositions, like the one that Method Black are playing, are so good at forcing them to make mistakes, right? You just have so many potential goes, so many setups, so many instances where playing defensive can be a deficit. Playing on the back foot can be a deficit, but we see them manage to make a composition like Method Black's composition look like it can be played on script. And that is something that is so miraculous. And you look at the way that Looney is able to hold on cooldowns, massive cooldowns, and stave off the onslaught of Method Black. Will they be able to do it again? Will XRB find themselves on match point against the only team that had defeated them in this tournament?
Yeah, Method Black looking to strike back. XRB's going to have to do a phenomenal job once again defensively. Watts charging in. Looks like Walrus will be the target of choice. In the last game, I really feel like, Sid, XRB's pressure onto Chaz is what ultimately secured them the win.
Yeah, most certainly. However, on Ruins of Lordaeron, it'll be difficult for Looney to see attacks coming towards him. We see Waz setting up a blind play. Huge lightning bolt. That's a Trinket touch of karma. Prior to Plunder armor, Waz is looking to try and get a staff. He's managed to secure that, so now Looney needs to be a bit wary. Blizzo is very exposed moving forward. It's unlikely that he can really pressure Chaz. Not that he really needs to before dampening, but he needs to keep his eyes open, and Looney needs to be ready for an attack on him. Last game was all pressure on Looney. Now they make a stop. He pre-Astral shifts it. Looney just saw that coming, immediately walled the incoming stun, completely survives that setup as a result.
Thing is, though, Looney really there was no offensive cooldowns committed by Method Black, so that preemptive Astral Shift was good. It ultimately saved his Trinket, I think, and that would have been a dire setup if Blizzo didn't have a Trinket, Looney didn't have a Trinket, but still. Now Looney also could be a target for them as they make another swap. No Astral Shift available. He's not going to have too much out of this. Big damage coming in from everyone. Looney forced out to Trinket. This is the situation that Method Black wants. They have the Plunder armor. Looney no Trinket. Blizzo no Trinket. This is so scary.
And this is the map. It's a great map pick. Blizzo's trying to solo Waz. He overextended. Chaz is going to cover that and life grip him back to safety, denying the touch of death, potentially killing him there with no Trinket. But this map pick was perfect by Method Black. It's so difficult for Looney to stay 40 yards away constantly and avoid these swaps, or if Blizzo overextends, there's nowhere to hide. It completely negates the portal effects from the Monk and the Warlock, so anyone can die at this point. Here's the setup onto Looney. No Trinket. Where's the Plunder? He gets incapacitated. He's not able to Plunder. Blizzo saves Looney. Great defense between Blizzo and Looney there.
Waz, I think he's just waiting for his blind. He's going to be able to blind up Looney, go on to Blizzo with everything, and they can take him down. Walrick's still rotting down as well. Swapsy and Chaz causing a lot of pressure. Blizzo trying to force Waz in a defensive position, but a nice interrupt from Waz onto Looney, not allowing him to pop off, but a big swap over on Walrick's, forcing out his Trinket, Unending Resolve, and the Hellstone. Method Black is on fire.
All right, with no pillars to portal behind, Method Black are pulling a ton of cooldowns. You can tell that they are now taking this series seriously, because at this point everybody is exposed to go down. How is Looney going to predict it? They're forced to stack up in the room. They're pinned down. Method Black have them in a position for take this match. Let's see if they can do it. Fist of Fury onto Waz. They're trying to force him away. They need to get Waz out of their face, but he Cloak of Shadows. He doesn't care. He wants them stacked up so he can attack whoever doesn't have Earth Shield. They might need to use the gateway very shortly. Swapsy moves in with tricks in the trade. They swap to Looney. No Trinket. Tons of damage. Method Black come back. And now they're bringing this series. So we've got a good series on our hands here, ladies and gentlemen, because that didn't look like any of the other earlier games.
That was checkmate for XRB to the moon. Looney had no Trinket, Walrick's had no Trinket, no cooldowns. Whoever had Earth Shield, the other person was going to die instantly, and they read that situation perfectly.
You know, Sid said that didn't look like any of the other games. Well, maybe not in this series, but in this tournament when they actually matched up first, every single game looked like that. Waz looked at somebody and they got deleted. This time, that is what we are going to see. And, you know, you kind of mentioned it, Ven. You said it was almost checkmate from the beginning, right? Even that first Astral Shift, you could see already so much setup potential coming out from Method Black. But the question is, was the map the only thing that caused that change in your mind, Zico? Was it just the close quarters?
I don't think it was only the close quarters. I just think that they made sure that they had more damage stacked up before they committed with the setups. And this time around, you know, if you compare to the Shaman's game, for example, in the start there, they blind up Looney and then they go on to Blizzo. Blizzo can comfortably sit through the stun lock and then get his touch of karma. In this particular matchup, for example, all of a sudden they have a lot more damage in that setup. They blind Looney, they force out the Trinket karma from all. Starts off with, again, a stun onto Blizzo here to deny that paralyze. And then every single time they swap onto Looney on the side of Method Black, they do it with the Earthshock stun right there, with the Earthshock into the pistol stun, and then they follow that up with another pistol stun. And Waz knows Looney, if he doesn't Trinket here, he's a dead man. So he's gonna hold. They forced out his Trinket, or where they can just do this, they kick Looney into the full Gouge. Warwick's has been PvE'd down from Chaz and Swapsy. Waz comes in clutch with the stun, of course, forcing out the Trinket as well as the Unending Resolve as well as the Health Stone. And at that point, now you can look at your frame. You can see Looney has no Trinket, so Looney's gonna die if he keeps Earth Shield on Warwick's, which is the case.
To attempt to use that advantage here, that comp advantage, to take down Method Black, who has been the most dominant team in the world this year.
Waz has been awakened in that last game. They did devastating amounts of damage in their swaps. It almost looked unhealable. So let's see if they can do it again here on Black Rook Hold. A good map for Looney as he can portal back into the room if he is in danger. Blizzo leading the charge, chopping away at Waz, but he's overextended behind the pillar. Looney's trying to move in. He walks into a blind. He has to Trinket that. Now with Trinket out of the way, they need to look to force the next objective, which is Way of the Crane. Looney's moving across the map. He gets Hex. Instant dispel from Zeepai. Fast reaction times. Waz still the target for Blizzo. Looney still looking for crowd control, walking towards Chaz. Lands the stun. He gets feared though off the back of that. Now Zeepai in trouble, dipping below half. Lots of lava bursts flying. Way of the Crane has been forced. So now with no Trinket and no Way of the Crane, Looney needs to get into a position to avoid an attack on himself.
Yeah, he's gonna need that pre-fortifying brew, or Blizzo's gonna need to peel for him quite a bit if they do make that swap with the Plunder armor. It can be very devastating to Looney, so he's gonna have to be careful while still taking a little bit of damage.
There it is.
Blizzo doing the best he can. Here it is on Looney. A lot of pressure coming in, but Waz wasn't able to really get there. Now finally reconnecting, but that fear once again coming in clutch, allowing Looney to escape.
Great portal positioning as well, with Looney porting back into the room out of line of sight. Blizzo's fears have been immaculate in this series, exactly when Looney needs them. Now Looney will have Way of the Crane for the next incoming stun, so Swapsy needs to generate as much pressure as possible to force that without using a stun. Then they can make another swap again and potentially take him out. There's the stun. No grappling hook though from Waz. He's going to be going after Zeepai instead. Now moving over for a sneaky kick. He gets storm bolted though. Tons of damage here from Blizzo. Waz in trouble. He's going to kite away with that sprint. Dash into safety, going for a vanish play. Cheap shiny Zeepai, unfortunately fully DR'd, so now Zeepai's going to be feeling pretty safe in this position. XRB to the Moon are starting to restabilize, and later into dampening, they definitely have the advantage.
Yeah, there's no question about it. When they can start pressuring down Chaz and getting rid of that Vim, that's really where they can take advantage of these setups. But a lot of damage over onto Looney. He does have his port in a good position, but he's going to be charging in. He doesn't care. Using Way of the Crane, he's getting kited on it though. Nice gouge from Waz as well. A little bit of a swap here to Blizzo. Nice fear onto Looney. Looney getting a little bit too aggressive with that Way of the Crane. Ultimately get a fade, didn't get too much damage or too much healing. That was a nice shutdown from Method Black.
Yeah, but I'm glad Looney gave up on that push and retreated away. They could have just easily taken him down. We see the Earthshock grappling hook. He line of sights the stun at the last second. He pre-walls. So Looney he went out of line of sight, walled, walked back into line of sight for Waz to attack him here. He baited the stun by making that play. Waz probably was thinking, whoa, why'd you walk in line of sight? Went for a stun, but Looney pre-walled. So he manages to get through that stun lock without using his Trinket, and now he can Trinket blind. So Looney's doing a great job. There's Trinket on blind, but now he'll have Way of Cranes to fall back on. He's playing this Mistweaver Monk very effectively, despite not seeing it really throughout the tournament.
They know their lose conditions, and they're playing those perfectly. Basically, every time they know they can lose, they know what they have to do to survive. Waz taking a little bit of damage here. Chaz responds with the Rapture and the Archangel to keep his team stable, keep his team alive. Looney going for the Shayloon's gift, actually gets stunned on it. Now Zeepai could be in a little bit of trouble. Maybe Method Black changing up their target a little bit in this matchup.
All right, Zeepai getting pressured down here. Looney's gonna have to heal without Way of the Crane. That's very difficult. Shayloon's gift is a big heal though. That's gonna top off Zeepai. Chaz stacking up Clarity of Wills on Waz as he is the expected target. That's good, a pre-meditative move. Waz grappling, hooking back to the top of the ramp, but really not getting anywhere. Blizzo goes into battle stance, goes for a Stormbolt. Chaz life grips away. Blizzo reconnects. Looney on top of him for the paralysis as well, but does not want to overcommit. They know they win in dampening, so using Way of the Crane aggressively would be a mistake for Looney. He's playing it patient.
Yeah, interrupt on the Chaz. Waz still in a lot of trouble, forced into the Cloak of Shadows. Zeepai kiting away. Looney now getting swapped through, uses the Way of Crane to survive. He has a cocoon, and once again, Blizzo is going to have that fear, which is just so important to keep them alive. But if Method Black can save their trinkets for that moment, they can take Looney down.
And they all have their trinkets, both Swapsy and Waz. Looney may even need to pre-life cocoon this next stun. He's trying to get aggressive though with Waz human racialing out of that Stormbolt. Looney's in a position defensively at the room to try and make them overextend so Zeepai can free cast on them. But any Earthshock here, Earthshock, grappling hook, stun, wombo combo. Is Blizzo going to be able to save him in these final moments as he's getting bursted down? No, he will not be able to. Swapsy's damage just a little bit too much, and we're going to be tying this series up, ladies and gentlemen.
And that is the threat in these waters when you're playing against Waz. Every single game you need to know that that is something that is always in the realm of possibility. And now this series all tied up 2-2. Zico, how on earth did they piece together that kill?
Again, off of the back of the Earthshock stun, Swapsy again using his gust of wind to get into that room, gives Waz that split second that he needs to hook himself towards the enemy ship and start sending off their captain on that plank and just clean sweep Looney out of this map. And now we're gonna have to go to a game number 5 here. We're all tied up. Waz gonna come in with the Plunder armor. They're gonna find that win condition that we've been talking about, where they find the Way of the Crane is down, the trinkets are down, and this time around as well, like the intelligent casters next to me highlighted during the game, They save all of their trinkets for Blizzo when he's gonna come in with that fear, with the disarm, and they just
5 in this tournament. This is the grand final. This is worth $50,000. This is worth a spot at BlizzCon. It is going to be decided in a best of 7. So this next one is not match point, but it will. XRB looking so good in this series. The only team that they've lost to in this entire tournament is Method Black. Method Black is undefeated. Who is going to get the most important win and take this grand final? We will get a team on match point after this game.
XRB has all the tools they need to survive. Last game came down to the fact that Looney didn't get the preemptive healing or fortifying elixir, which is just so important. Looney basically cannot make a single mistake in this matchup, or Method Black will be able to punish. If XRB to the moon can play perfect once again, they can definitely put another point up on the board.
Ooh, Blizzo is trying to go for a double battle blade storm there, but Waz was able to sneak away. Now Looney's overextended. They're trying to catch him off guard. Psychic Screaming out of the stun and switching potentially over to Blizzo. He's already down at half. Looney in full retreat, but on stun DR, so there's not going to be really too much surprises. XRB to the moon just softening up the targets. Their main priority is to keep Looney alive to get into dampening. Outside of that, I'm not sure if they're really going to have the power to push anyone over with Chaz healing them.
A lot of damage on the Z-Buy, unexpected amount of damage. Hex now on the Z-Buy to make a swap over onto Waz, incapacitate onto Chaz. This is very nicely done by XRB to the moon, but Looney caught in a gouge. Could be in a little bit of trouble here. Cheap Shot does come in. Is he going to use the Way of the Crane? Yes, he's going to deflect the stun with the Way of the Crane, but it looked like Method Black, but they were just baiting it out. They didn't commit anything to that. They can easily get Looney stunned in a little bit.
Well, I mean, Method Black are doing enough damage that they kind of force Looney to use Way of the Crane before their burst moments, and that's off the back of Swapsy's huge constant damage, and now there's an opening where they can use Blind to get Looney's Trinket. Looney's going to pour it away. Waz is overextending, gets charge route behind the pillar. Sharpened Blade at low health. He has to use Cloak of Shadows and Riposte at the same time. Good punish from Blizzo. Looney can definitely bait Waz into bad positions as he's the main kill target, and that was a great move by XRB to the moon.
Yeah, Looney's going to be playing it very safe until that Way of the Crane comes back up. It really is going to be up to Swapsy to move in, get those Earth Shock stuns if they want to take him down, but there's a full stun onto Looney. No Way of the Crane for a couple seconds, but no damage really going out. It looks like Waz turning his attention onto Blizzo, but he should be able to easily tank through this damage. Now Looney looking to get aggressive. He was stunned. They weren't able to get too much damage. Incapacitate onto Chaz, Stormbolt onto Waz. Do they have any burst? Doesn't look like it. Waz going to be able to escape and reconnect onto Looney.
Yep, trying to go for a solo kill behind the pillar, at least force some cooldowns. Disarm on Waz, denies the damage. Looney goes for his Shaylins. He has to fake cast a Kickback, gets blinded at low health. He's trying to be greedy, but Z-Bite gets caught into a stun. Looney doesn't want to play with that. Now gouged on the Trinket. Z-Bite is still dipping low. He's being kind of greedy, not trading Astral Ship, but he's going to get away with it. With that revival, stabilizing the team, removing all the flame shocks from Swapsy, so he's going to have to reapply those as soon as possible to maximize his damage. Waz getting caught into a stun, but free life grips the incapacitate. Blizzo charges over. He Stormbolts Chaz instead. Chaz uses that human racial to get out of that. We saw Berserker Rage from Blizzo. He's caught out of line of sight in a root as Looney is almost alone here. They're trying to bait the Way of the Crane, but the longer he waits, the more risky it's going to be. He's managed to sit through it at 30% health, portaling out of line of sight, catching an enveloping mist. Looney's still got that Way of the Crane to break out of a stun and potential plunder. Method Black still need to get through that objective very soon.
We call it greed, but Looney really has to be this greedy with these cooldowns because Method Black, they're going to be able to exploit the fact he has no Trinket. He's going to have no Way of the Crane. Waz going to have Plunder armor available, so XRB to the moon, they have to play it exceptionally safe here and really pinch until Method Black fully commits offensively. Waz getting knocked away. Z-Bite going to be taking a little bit of damage with the cheap shot onto Looney as well. Now a gouge on the Looney. Waz doing a good job controlling up the enemy team, but once again, he's in enemy territory for too long. Blizzo's going to be able to punish him quite hard.
Chaz is trying to chase down Looney, potentially for a Psychic Scream, or maybe onto Z-Pie. He's staying on top of the team. We see Waz caught into a leg sweep, Chaz caught into a Stormbolt. He's going to use Pain Suppression in this setup to allow Waz to stay offensive. They got 37 seconds before that Trinket. They're trying to put pressure on Looney, force Way of the Crane without a stun. They really need to, but they're not finding it. Z-Pie gets Hex. He's going to be stuck in that. There's no D-Curse for him, so his damage is going to be lowered. Blizzo now getting swapped too. Swapsy trying to lob out some damage. Leaping back there, a bit peculiar by Swapsy. Maybe Chaz is trying to drink. He's trying to get in a position to thunderstorm any sort of gap closers away from Chaz. He thunderstorms Blizzo, but Chaz didn't really get any mana off the back of that. Swapsy falling behind, and XRB to the moon continue the stall tactic, and they only need to stall until Chaz is out of mana. They're halfway there.
Incapacitate onto Chaz. Waz just line of sighting. He knows he could be in a lot of trouble. There's a Stormbolt onto Swapsy. Blizzo and Z-Bite able to connect just a little bit, but Chaz out of the crowd control, able to get out a nice penance and solace to top off his team. Swapsy doesn't want to get too aggressive in this situation. Looney still has every single one of his defensive except that revival. There's a full leg sweep on Chazz, but Chaz doing a good job with the clarity of wills, with the power word shields to really deny that damage.
All right, Looney caught into a gouge. They're going after Zeepai. He thunderstorms Chazz away. Charge route off the back of the knockback. Good teamwork between Blizzo and Zeepai as Looney's caught in crowd control. Zeepai ducks around the corner. Snap out of the hex. Not going to really be doing too much, and now he can't go for a blind. Looney knows he's safe from blind for at least a couple of seconds. Zeepai on the run, though. A stun onto Looney. Zeepai kiting Chazz, trying to do his best here. He's dipping dangerously low, but is likely to survive as Looney reconnects. Still, Earthshock doing a ton of damage. Stun onto Chazz. Blizzo saves the day. Pop that battle cry, trying to tear in on Chazz. Shadows being traded out by Chazz a bit preemptively. That's not going to be available if he overextends, though, moving into the future.
Looney has to have a very fine balance. His offensive capabilities on that Mistweaver Monk are very important for his team to secure a kill. He needs to get the incapacitates on Chaz as well as get those leg sweeps onto Chazz, while also balancing the fact that he is the main kill target. So far, I got to give it up to Looney. He's been doing an incredible job. Chazz just forced so defensive. We really haven't seen this from Chazz in a very long time, where he's not just free to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he may not be getting the compass buff that he needs. We see cross crowd control, though, set up by XRB, trying to punish this push by Chazz with Looney dipping down below half. This is easily going to have to be a way of the crane. Way of the crane. Portal behind the pillar. Looney survives. Now Chazz is likely to use blind, but he's dipping low. Riposte to dodge the incoming executes. Looney's on his back, though. Barrier. Will the barrier be enough? Chazz has to harpoon out, but that might not be enough. Huge damage from Zeepai. Oh, a quick pick me up by Swapsy, trying to save the day there with some healing surges. Chazz needs to be careful. He wants to get the trinket from Looney and then push forward, but he doesn't have many defensive cooldowns to work with, so he could easily go down in the process.
Yeah, it's just so difficult. Blizzo and Zeepai both playing the Orc Relentless. Those stuns aren't going to last long. They're looking to get aggressive on Zeepai. Chazz has not used that Plunder armor once this game. A little bit of damage on Zeepai. Looney's actually going to be trinketing out. He's in a gouge. No way of the crane available. No trinket available. Now he's a good swap target. The DR cheap shot coming in, but Looney's going to be able to easily survive that.
Yeah, but they got trinket and Astral shift. Now Zeepai is a viable kill target as well. Let's see what Zeepai is doing here. He's hexing up Swapsy. They've stalled it out. Chaz is almost out of mana. Chazz is forced to retreat away. Method Black, they're on the ropes. Blizzo's moving in. Zeepai's moving up. They know they've got them on the ropes, but Zeepai needs to be careful. He's just going to jump in. They have to stop the drink. That mana bar is their only win condition. The damage just in favor of a Method Black outside of that. Looney's leading the charge. We see Stormbolt, no trinkets. Leg sweep to follow up. Human Racial, though, available. Cloak of Shadows gets traded out. Nice dispel on that Hex from Looney. Let's see how Chazz is going to play this out. He stuns up Looney. Likely to be a way of the crane. Swapsy channeling that Ice Fury. Looney needs to be careful. He's being very greedy in this position, but he is going to get away with it. Rolling away to safety, and every time he's able to get away from those situations, it opens up the potential to be more aggressive in the future.
At this point in the game, though, Looney's going to have to cast out a lot more Enveloping Mist, really taxing his mana. Chazz gets the gouge on Looney. Chaz in position to land the fear. A lot of damage now on to Blizzo. Looks like Zeepai's actually the main target. Swapsy just slowing him down. Can they take him down? Life Cocoon in the nick of time coming in from Looney to keep Zeepai alive.
This is the swing match in the final series. Best of 7 in the summer finals. Will XRB to the moon be able to stay alive long enough? Their defensive cooldowns are rotating up. They're looking good. Chaz is almost tapped on mana. Double stun secured from Looney as Chaz is dipping low. That Vim is gone, and who knows when it's going to be back with dampening ramping up so heavily. Chazz dipping down below half. Swapsy getting hexed away. He can't help anybody, and XRB to the moon. They're looking solid.
They're looking very solid. Way of the crane's going to be available. Zeepai has his Astral Shift. Everyone from XRB is safe. Incapacitate on Chaz. Can they take Chazz down? Riposte going to be traded out to avoid some of the damage coming in from Blizzo. He leaps away, but Chaz, with this amount of mana at this point, dampening, it's going to be so hard, like we said, to get that precious Vim up, which increases his healing. If they can keep this pressure up on Chaz, it's going to be very scary for Method Black.
Blizzo charging. If they stack up for a triple Blade Storm, that could just be the end of the game. Nice off pummel from Blizzo, trying to get the pressure, but Light's Wrath potentially. We see all the interrupts have been blown through. Looney moves in. He's got Trinket. He's got Way of the Crane. He's got everything to keep his team going. He might have to Trinket out of this. He's being greedy. Blizzo trying to sit through it as well. Die by the Sword available, holding on to everything so they can make a final push, but they're risking it. He's dangerously low. Monitors are flying in. He's going to use a commanding shot, but he's still dipping low. Way of the Crane on 10%, but they do not care. They're going to be gunning down Chaz, trying to stay on target. Chaz is looking to kite away. Blizzo not able to stay on target just yet, but he's not going to get that Vim back. Chaz has absolutely no mana. Blizzo has no defenses. It's going to be a race to the finish.
Chaz needs to find some pressure here. Needs to take down Blizzo. Stun on the Looney. Can they take Blizzo down in this moment? Chaz almost into execute range. XRB closing out the game. They're going to be leading.
Wait.
Maybe a cross kill on Blizzo. Ultimately, Zeebai lands some healing sap on the Looney. Does have the life cocoon, and that will secure their victory. XRB still in a commanding lead, not losing that precious swing match.
Method Black absolutely decimated XRB earlier, and now XRB in the revenge match. They crawl back from the losers bracket to the grand final, and now they're on match point. They're one game away from BlizzCon now. $50,000 in prize money, and BlizzCon from a squad that honestly, they have fallen off in this season, and now all of a sudden they are back.
It's absolutely insane what these guys are able to do here. They finally found a way to beat the Outlaw Rogue, and now you can really see the mid-game adaptations coming out. Before this game, you could see Looney would immediately use his Way of the Crane when he was getting swapped to, and they could force that out of the way, and then they could find these opportunities. But in this game, he would really try to hold on to it as much as possible to avoid putting himself in that situation where he doesn't have Trinket or Way of the Crane. And I mean, they did a phenomenal job with it, and Method Black had to look elsewhere and try to take down Zeebai, try to take down Blizzo instead, and all of a sudden their game plan didn't look as solid as it did in the previous match.
Now Sid
cooldown here, and you can see Looney still has his Trinket. They're going to try to trade that out for blind later, and here Looney is getting stunned up. Waz is making his way to Looney, and he's going to be going for Zeebai actually, because he realized that Looney is playing way too greedy in this matchup, and they can't really force the issue here. So Looney is going to be getting stunned up. Zeebai is going to get swapped to. He's going to use his Astral shift. Right, the thing here is to land the crowd control, and this is how they do it. They get the Gouge, they get their full fear here, but they don't manage to connect onto Zeebai with everything because Blizzo is there. He's trying to peel out the situation, and that was really the last-ditch effort, and that is the mid-game adaptation that Method Black had to do as well. And all of a sudden, their setup didn't look as clean as when they're trying to one-shot Looney. And at this point in the game,
be the second team in the world to get the honor to compete at BlizzCon, or will Method Black extend this all the way to Game 7?
Ladies and gentlemen, BlizzCon is on the line, and who would have guessed that XRB to the moon are one win away from advancing? Raikou needs to be the MVP for Method Black as he steps into Tolvaron Arena. Waz finding his target, opening up on Walrix. Raikou already channeling out Frostbolts, building up those icicles for a deadly assault. Looney has Cenarian Ward on himself, preemptively for the swap. That will soak a bit of this damage, but it may not be enough on its own as huge amounts of pressure comes crashing in. He survives the stun with only trading out Barkskin, which is a fair trade moving forward, but if he lets himself get caught that easily a couple more times in a row, he's going to be out of this game, and we're going to be moving into a Game 7.
Here's the problem when Raikou's spamming out those Frostbolts, like he said. He's building up the Icicles, he's building up the Fingers of Frost as well as that critical Brain Freeze, and that's when he's going to get those flurries out, do a tremendous amount of instant cast damage onto Looney. So if they just allow Raikou to build up this damage, he's going to be able to do those goes consistently if they can catch Looney out of form.
All right, Raikou using that Blizzard to reduce the cooldown of Frozen Orb and also hammering away at Walrix, but here goes another swap. Let's see, the Frozen Orb is up. Blizzo leaps over, Stormbolting Waz. Where's the fear on the Trinket? Do they even need it? Looney's just disappearing. So much damage blows up. Gouge at low HP. Stun onto the end of that, but Looney survives. Another swap. It's going to be Looney having to play perfectly in this game if he wants to take it. Going to be at the edge of his seat throughout, and on such a large map they can swap targets quickly and easily. Triple crowd control for Method Black as they switch their attention to Blizzo. Waz gets disarmed to deny the sap on the blind. Nice play from Blizzo.
That was so nicely done by Blizzo. Looney's going to be able to comfortably sit through that blind. No follow-up sap. Blizzo now full stun over on the Waz. Do they have the damage to take him down? Chaz in a very good spot though with the Rapture, going to be able to easily keep Waz alive in this situation, but these swaps from Method Black are so scary. Waz going for a stun once again. Nice fair form coming in from Looney, denying any potential setup.
Yeah, now Walrix portaling back with Chaz moving in for a Psychic Scream as they are going to switch to Blizzo. How much damage do they have? Raikou unleashing tons of icicles. Spell Reflect denying the kill though. Looney getting out of that Psychic Scream. No defensive cooldowns forced from that swap. Raikou doing his best with these Blizzards, trying to get as many Frozen Orbs as possible. Looney crossing the map. Every time Chaz takes his pillar, Looney repositions to the other, and XRB to the moon are playing this map to perfection. It's all going to come down to whether or not Method Black can catch Looney off guard.
Yeah, but this damage coming in from Method Black, but these setups are so scary. All the procs from the Mage, Waz with Tricks of the Trade. Blizzo's going to be denying Waz from attacking Looney. He's going to be sitting in bear form, now making a stun over onto Blizzo. Nice damage committed by Raikou, but Blizzo should be okay. Here it is on Looney once again. He committed the Iron Bark on Blizzo, not going to be using the Barkskin. He's going to be able to easily survive, reading the situation, realizing Raikou ran out of damage.
Yeah, and Blizz with a perfect stun to deny any follow-up crowd control. Looney repositions. Chaz takes his pillar. Okay, that's your pillar. I'm going to take this one, and his positioning is great in this match so far. Blizzo's backup has been excellent. Walrix is just trying to ramp up as much damage as possible. Looney, though, surprisingly, is behind on mana. I think Chaz snuck away for a drink with a perfect Frost Nova on that Fell Hunter on the far left-hand side of the screen, and that Frost Nova bought a drink to full. Looney's sitting in the back trying to drink to full as well, but he didn't get nearly as much, and he's actually falling behind on mana. You posted, or you said in the pregame, Ben, that they can actually out-dampen them with this comp, and if Chaz keeps getting these drinks, it's definitely a possibility.
What becomes so scary is they have this much burst without using the Icy Veins, without using the Plunder Armor, and later on they can just get a kill without landing any crowd control whatsoever. Mind control over onto Blizzo, pistol stun committed onto Walrix, looking for the damage there. There's the blind on Looney. Walrix, he ports away, but Waz all over him. Can they take him down? They managed to get the health stone out of Walrix. That's a critical defensive cooldown. Still has the unending resolve, but Looney just now getting out of crowd control.
Ebb and Bolt swap now to Looney as they're trying to spread their pressure. No, actually polymorphing up to keep up the chase towards Walrix. Walrix portals out of that blizzard, avoiding the damage and the CDR. Looney getting poly 3 times though. Walrix on the run. Waz right on top of him. Who are they going to go after in this next attack? Chaz is being quite sneaky, trying to get close to Looney. Another blizzard put down by Raikou. He's doing maximum damage on this Frost Mage. Blizzo being pressured away. Looney forced to use his artifact to allow his whole team to recover quite rapidly. Chaz still doing a great job with his mana. In the meantime, Looney's trying to reposition, but Blizzo and Walrix are kind of out of position for him. If he goes too far away, they could just go after the Warlock, and I think that is likely to be what they do. But if Looney goes out of bear form right now, he could be caught. Waz sees him right now out of form. He's just waddling his way over. If he catches him, it could be a trinket for free. There's the grappling hook over. Looney gets into bear for it. He's just going to gouge him and go for a swap onto Walrix instead. But with no crowd control off of that, it's not going to be nearly enough.
Yeah, I want you guys to pay attention to Chaz's positioning in this map as well. He moves on now, doing a little damage to Looney, but for the most part, he's just sitting behind the pillar. He doesn't allow Walrix to land any sort of dots on him. Never going to get UD'd in this match, just spamming out the smites, spamming out the penances to keep his team alive at a very safe distance. Later on in the game, the Affliction Warlock pressure should theoretically mount up, allowing Method Black to fall behind, but so far Chaz's man is great, going for the drinks when he needs them, and they're just playing this so clinical.
Look at Looney setting up the efflorescence behind that pillar. That green circle heals anyone that stands inside of it, so he's predicting a swap to himself and then positioning that there, and you see the green aura around him. That's a Cenarian ward, so he's expecting an attack on himself. I actually think Method Black should poke him before they make the swap to get that big heal over time effect basically wasted. We see a defensive succubus play here from Walrix to try and resurrect his Fell Hunter. He doesn't want that to allow him to go down, but now that threat won't be available, then Chaz won't have to worry about it. Raikou still developing some damage. The Blizzo cheap shot away. Plunder armor now available. Where are Method Black going to strike next?
We'll definitely have to see Raikou with good control under Walrix in this matchup, basically just getting out the damage, controlling of Walrix the best he can. Another big swap here over on the Looney, but he gets into bear once again. Now Raikou dumping his damage onto Blizzo. Blizzo leaps away, out of line of sight. Looney caught into the fear, into the mind control, but now Blizzo's in a position where Raikou really can't get any damage out. He's going to be line of sighting him. He's on top of the gate. Nice Ring of Frost coming in from Raikou. Do they have the follow-up damage on Blizzo? Keep in mind, he's playing Orc Relentless. He can't get out of these stuns. If they can get a stun in this moment, it could be scary, but Looney going into stealth, going to be able to land some heals finally onto Blizzo.
Yeah, they got split up quite heavily. I'm surprised Blizzo did not need to be forced to use more defensive cooldowns. Good presence of mind and kiting with the gateway allowed him to be greedy. We see Waz leaping over for a swap. Looney sees that coming. He's not going to be caught off guard by this pesky pirate. BlizzCon is on the line. Looney can not afford to make any mistakes. Chaz caught into a storm ball. He's in center field. They're going to dot him up and try and swap. He's trying to hunt down Looney. 4 Psychic Screams. So Blizzo's going to stay on his back. Poly on Walrix. They're trying to bait Looney to dispel this polymorph. They bait him. They blind him. They get the trinket. Waz could make a swap now to Looney. 100 owing him. Plunder and Icy Veins are available. Barkskin will not be enough to survive that. If Looney makes even one mistake here in these next couple of seconds, he's going to be dying almost instantly. Waz is trying to find that. He's just going back and forth, trying to find an opportunity to bait Looney out. They're going after Walrix, trying to force the switch on the Life Bloom. Raikou building up more damage. Frostbolt after Frostbolt, trying to sneak into polymorph. Looney dodges it. They're trying to bait a dispel. If Looney falls for this bait, he will die. Now instead committing to Walrix, he portals instantly out of line of sight and gates right back to Looney. The Waz will ultimately reconnect, but gets storm bolted. Really good defensive play right here from XRB, allowing Looney to play defensive. Regardless, they might just cut right through it. Are they going to kill him through the unending resolve? So much damage, but not enough.
Still, Raikou holding on to that Icy Veins for dear life. We've seen him wait so late in the game to actually pull the trigger with that offensive cooldown. Now Walrus, no unending resolve. Raiku's going to have so much damage with Tricks of the Trade and the Icy Veins. Looney, no Trinket. Walrus is going to have to kite like a god.
Yeah, I mean, XRB to the moon, they're getting out-dampened in this position. They're falling behind on mana, and they're falling behind on cooldowns. I feel like Method Black are sitting comfortable to take this to a Game 7. What can Blizzo really do? He's trying his best to force Chaz away as he's hunting down Looney. Waz is actually rotting. Raikou is rotting. Chaz is caught in a Stormbolt. This could be the last push, though, for XRB. They need to try and get something going. Looney's just trying to avoid the fight, but Walrus really doesn't have anything to keep himself alive. There's the swap. They're going to stun him up. Walrus portals back out of line of sight. Ring of Frost out of the stun. No interrupt available. Walrus skates away. Life grip? No life grip. He's going to be walking all the way back. Nice nether ward on the frozen orb. Walrus ducks out of line of sight. Waz overextends. Raikou is running down, and this is match point, Ben.
Raikou in a lot of trouble. Waz in a lot of trouble. Walrus in a lot of trouble. Looney needs to reconnect with the Iron Bark. Manages to use it. That was the Icy Beam for Raikou. He gets interrupted. Not going to have the damage. Now Raikou in so much trouble. Blizzo's not there, unfortunately, for the execute, but Raikou forced into the first Ice Block. Chaz flailing to keep his team alive using the Archangel. Waz really low as well. Has the Cloak of Shadows, though, going to be using that to heal himself up. That was such a scary moment.
If they can get Vim off Chaz, this is match point. XRB are going to BlizzCon. Blizzo is forced to come back, though, and peel Waz off. He uses Riposte. He can't afford to go down on health. Waz jumps over. He catches Looney out of form, but he can't get in line of sight. He goes after Walrus. Walrus instantly portals away from that. Raikou is out of position. He can't do damage and crowd control. Waz has to solo kill Walrus. Walrus knows that. Trinket skates across the map, kiting Waz. Waz grapples over. He has to kill him by himself. Blizzo's backing him up. It's a 2-on-1 onto Waz behind the pillar for match point.
Looney Trinkets. He's trying to reconnect. Raikou gets there for damage. Waz gets disarmed. He retreats to safety. Walrus going to be completely fine. Looney able to top him off. He's going to have that Iron Bark available as well, but Looney did use his Trinket there. Plunder armor still available for Waz. If Method Black can get their footing in this matchup, there are a few opportunities here. Walrus, no Trinket, no unending resolve. Looney, no Trinket. They can get a blind setup with the Plunder armor. This is going to be devastating for XRB.
We're just moving deeper and deeper into dampening, now almost at 30%. These healers will not be able to recover from the high-intensity burst much longer. Raikou has Frozen Orb. They've got Plunder. Looney's got no Trinket. Walrus has nothing. At this point, Method the Black have probably one more opportunity to take a kill. Walrus he's caught in Frost Nova right now. He can't run. Waz is overextending, though. He Trinkets. He's forced to retreat away. Blizzo says, no way you're killing my Warlock. Playing defense perfectly, counter-pressuring Waz. Chaz paint suppressions, but now he can't push forward. Vortex onto Waz to try and get the grappling hook. He pre-bears the blind. There's no swap opportunity. Walrus skates away. Waz in hot pursuit. He has to solo Walrus. Blizzo leaps back to defend, but he might be able to do it. He doesn't. He takes them down. We're going to game number 7.
One more game is going to decide the second team to go to BlizzCon. What a series that we are having here. Keep in mind just how much we really have seen XRB turn up in this series, but Method constantly adapting. They have managed to take this all of the way to a Game 7, Zico.
And what a fitting way to finish Legion. I can't even talk after that game. What an insane game. Full blind onto Looney there. When he doesn't have that Trinket, they connect onto Warwick, who did a great job kiting throughout the entire game, constantly taking the gateway, avoiding Raikou, making sure he can't do damage, and CC his healer, playing the map pretty much perfectly, but in the end, they find that full Ring of Frost out of the blind, they connect with the...
Really does, and also to just see the compositions that they're playing as well, seeing what they have figured out here, and Supatees, I really do feel like we could not ask for more skill-capped play. Offensive. It has been on Method Black to bring the pressure, and it has been on XRB to weather that storm and try to find a win late. But folks, it all comes down to this. The winner gets $50,000 and a spot at BlizzCon. The gates are now open.
This is the final game of the expansion. Who is the best of the best in Legion? We will find out shortly as Looney sits through his staff. Waz starts the attack, but gets knocked away from the initial assault, allowing Looney a lot of breathing room. Blizzo now getting knocked down to the side. Zipa, Looney, and Blizzo both just huddling behind the pillar, waiting for Method Black to make a move. Waz caught into a Stormbolt paralysis. Good cross crowd control. Waz, he overreacts. He trades almost his entire defensive arsenal early on.
They want to get aggressive on Zeepai. Gouge on the Loony. Big burst on the Zeepai right now. Whilst holding the Plunder armor, but are they going to be able to get the Astral shift? Zeepai playing it a little bit greedy. Looney's in a good position to heal him up, but he gets blinded. He trinkets out with the revival. Method Black making sure XRB to the moon is having to play very defensively.
All right, Zeepai on the run. Looney has no trinket, no way in the crane. They could easily swap to him and just crush him outright. He has to predict the next attack, or he's going to be removed from the tournament, not going to BlizzCon. Waz is putting up the pressure. There's the Gouge to set up for the kill. Swapsy and Chaz moving in. Where's the stun? There it is. Blizzo needs to do something soon. He pre-died by the swords. They actually swapped to Blizzo. They saw the preemptive wall. Will he go down through the pre-dive by the sword? He quite possibly could. He does! And Black have done it. They're going to BlizzCon.
Absolutely insane to close that game out in that fashion. Method Black, one of the most dominant teams in the world. We have seen them take cup after cup. We haven't seen really in the history of WoW esports a team find so much consistent success. And now on the main stage, they close it out after a grueling series. And in a Game 7, they are going to BlizzCon. Waz and Raikou formed this team together after not finding the success as a duo that they wanted on their previous team. They get Swapsy, potentially the best player in the world, opens them up to so many different avenues of play. And that man Chaz, an absolute MVP, one of the best healers in the world, can do just about everything. And folks, if they can keep up the performance that they have had throughout this year, BlizzCon is looking like it could be theirs. They are the second team to qualify to go for BlizzCon to represent the EU alongside Reformed. Absolutely fantastic stuff from them, but you got to give it up to XRB as well. The team getting second place here. When they went up against Method Black earlier today, it didn't even look like a series. It looked like I queued up against a pro team. Absolutely torn apart like soft bread, but they bounce back. They make it through the lower portion of the bracket. They play against Method again, and in the rematch, it looks like it could have been theirs. They put on a real show for all of us in the last tournament of Legion, and honestly, it was the best tournament that we saw in Legion. And the victors are going to be none other than Method Black. Very, very deserving on their end. Zico, I really can't think of a team in WoW esports that we have seen be more dominant during a season.
Absolutely. I mean, these guys crushed the competition in Europe throughout the entire year, winning 4 cups out of 6 possible, and they had multiple top 2, top 3 placings as well before that in the ones that they didn't win. Of course, top 3 finish at the spring finals as a 3-man roster without their main mage, Raikou, on that team, and today they get to show up with full squad, and they get to take it home here, the final Legion tournament. There they are, the players that make it happen, and it all comes down to the mid-game adaptations that they manage to think of on the fly. They see Looney does something, they immediately counterattack and switch up their game plan on the fly, and I mean, this was such a well-deserved victory. I'm speechless.
Man, and that is going to be right now what they're holding. That is their quest to BlizzCon. And, you know, I couldn't think of a more deserving team. They made tough decisions, Waz and Raikou, to actually form this roster, leave behind players that it seemed so close that they were going to get that BlizzCon victory with them, but it just wasn't working. So they split with Zuniaki and Min Poike, players that they have played together with for such a long time, and ultimately now they're starting to find the success, and that is the main thing in their mind, a BlizzCon victory. And you know what? You have Swapsy, one of the most winningest World of Warcraft players that there is. And on top of that, I mean, he just has the classes right now. Even headed into BFA, we just assume that he could be an absolute force, Fenrir.
Well, it's his mindset as well. He's consistent over such a large period of time, over multiple expansions, really proving why. I mean, he is the 2-time BlizzCon champion. This is such a good addition to this roster here with Chaz on healer. These guys are absolutely insane. Played that Outlaw Elemental Shaman.
It just absolutely crazy stuff can happen at the beginning of the expansion, and very, very excited to see what these players can come up with here, and we are going to watch one more time how Method Black was able to come out on top.
I mean, that was just the game-winning play right there. They sheep shot Looney when Ziba is already on 30%. Then they find the blind onto him to force out his Trinket. And the reason why they're not one-shotting Looney here is because he does that preemptive fortifying brew. Instead, they're going to switch over to Blizzo because he's playing that relentless talent. And they're going to put all their eggs in that basket and one-shot Blizzo. And here it is, the man, the pirate.
Yo, what's up, everyone?
What's up?
We got Waz with us on the desk. We're going to talk about what actually happened. First of all, I just want to congratulate you, man. You've made a lot of hard decisions to actually form this team, and you have found so much success throughout the year. You guys have really looked like an absolutely crazy force. How much does it actually mean to you, though, that even though maybe if you don't win this, you're still pretty confident you're going to BlizzCon, but you get that victory, how much does it mean to you guys as a squad?
I mean, it means everything knowing that Raku was here. This is his first LAN, being with us now. He wasn't there at the last one, which we could have definitely won as well. Oh, I'm so dry in my mouth. Yeah, I don't know. I'm so overwhelmed right now, and I'm so happy. I don't know.
I don't think I've ever seen you like this revved up, and it's really an insane thing to see. Insane to see that series as well. I mean, that was not. It was easy for you guys when you played XRB the first time. You managed to find a very quick 3-0, but this series they easily could have taken you down. What is that like to kind of have that huge momentum shift when you had just played against the team earlier today?
Like, their Monk Thunder was super scary. Like, I had super bad RNG the first 2 losses we had against them, and we knew we could win. And we planned out to play Dalaran the last game. Like, we wanted to bait them into playing Dalaran because we knew we could play to win. And that was our goal. And I knew if they played Dalaran, we could just do the same and play to win all game. And I don't know, it was kind of lucky we killed him in the end, but we got him, boys. We got him.
Well, that was kind of what Venruki was saying, too. It seemed like that Tolvaron was maybe the bait to try to have that happen, and it definitely did pay off. But one thing that we definitely need to all start talking about on the desk is going to be Battle for Azeroth and how that is going to affect everything. Do you think your team is well situated for Battle for Azeroth?
For sure. We have so many ults, and we're so excited to get home and practice for BFA.
Yeah, any break, or are you getting straight into it?
Yeah, we're going to take a break. I think I'm going to go on vacation somewhere nice.
Yeah, I think it's definitely well-deserved. I mean, we've been kind of talking on the desk right now. I mean, then how often do we see a team that comes out this dominant? Obviously, we have a new format this year, but how often do we see a team look this dominant through a year?
It's really difficult. We don't normally see it. I think last year at the European Regionals with your old roster, you guys dominated online tournaments. You were the favorite to win. Unfortunately, not able to pull it off. But now it just seems like with your new full roster, you guys are just so strong. It really is just incredible to see.
Absolutely.